All right, what's the brain covered in? What's covering the brain? What? Dura mater. Dura mater. All right. The brain is covered in this connective tissue here called dura mater. It's very tough, leathery material for yourself. It's very hard. That's dura mater. What's below dura mater? Arachnoid matter. What's below arachnoid matter? Pia mater. So once you get the dura mater off, see this kind of looks like a shrink wrapped in saran wrap? That's the arachnoid matter. You can peel the arachnoid matter up. It's like this little tough little layer. That's the arachnoid matter. And if you look underneath it carefully, you'll see like the little fibers kind of going down to the brain itself. The pia mater is adhered right to the brain tissue. You can't peel it off without destroying the brain, so don't even bother. But it's dura mater, arachnoid matter, and then pia mater for yourself. And again, the pia mater is right on there, and you can peel up in any layer you want. It's kind of like saran wrap right over the brain, basically. And that there is the arachnoid matter. Okay? See that? All arachnoid matter. Now, once you get the dura mater off, go through your basic anatomy. What lobe is here? Frontal. What lobe is back here? Occipital. What lobe is over here? Kind of wraps around. Temporal. And then parietal's up here, basically. Okay, insula is deep to that. We're not going to do it, so don't worry about it. You got a big groove down the center. What is that? Longitudinal fissure, absolutely. Back here, what is this? Cerebellum. Cerebellum, very good. You're going to see bumps. Here's a brainstem, basically. And you're going to see bumps on it. There's a bump there and a bump there. That's going to be the pons versus the medulla oblongata. And those are even more obvious when we cut it in half, basically. So there's your basic general anatomy on the outside. The cranial nerves now. You're going to do 6 cranial nerves on this thing. The first one's very easy. It's going to be right there. It's that little bulb. That thing right there, that's cranial nerve 1. What's the name of cranial nerve 1?
Olfactory.
Olfactory. You see where this thing crosses over here? It's called the optic chiasm. What nerve is this? This is the optic nerve. So cranial nerve 1, cranial nerve 2. And again, they're right there. When you do this dissection, notice how we left the dura mater on there, right? You never get it off it, so leave it on there because otherwise you'll destroy the nerve root. So again, leave it right on there. Don't bother trying to peel off the dura off cranial nerve 1. So it's 1 and then 2. Cranial nerve 3 is right in the middle of the midbrain. See that nerve coming off right there? That's cranial nerve 3. It's right on the midbrain. So it's medulla, pons, midbrain, and on the midbrain is cranial nerve 3. Okay? 4 and 5 are off on the side here between the pons, the cerebellum, and where the occipital lobe is back here for stuff. That's where you're going to find 4 and 5. On these brains now, the way you do this is, see this big nerve over here? That's a big trigeminal nerve, one of the biggest cranial nerves that we have, basically. So you see it runs through the dura mater. So try and save just a little piece of it. So this one here, you can kind of try and get the dura mater off it. Use whatever you got for yourself. You know, cut the dura mater off and try and save the nerve as best as possible. So you want to leave a little bit of nerve root for yourself more than anything. You're not going to clean it all up. Don't even try. Just try and leave a little piece so you have a reference point for yourself back there. Cranial nerve 4 is underneath all this dura mater. It's kind of hard to get at, so I'll show you how to peel it off in a second. But be careful around this region here. You don't want to just rip it off quick. You pull everything with it, basically. So this is what it should look like. So again, where the pons is, that's your landmark. Again, right next to the pons lateral, that's trigeminal nerve. See that root right there? It comes out and it branches a bunch of times. That's your trigeminal nerve. This tiny little nerve inside here is cranial nerve 4. See that small little guy? That's cranial nerve 4. It's a small little nerve. Again, it's deep inside underneath all that dura mater, basically. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. 6 is another small little nerve. See the little nerve right there? Same thing over there. It's right between the pons and the medulla oblongata. So again, when you're peeling off this dura mater here, when you lift this stuff up, look for those nerves underneath. And cut the nerves where they enter the dura mater, then you leave the nerve behind. Don't just peel it off quick. Pick up the dura mater and look for the nerve, then snip the nerve where it goes into the dura mater, then you leave the nerve behind, basically. Okay? Now, when you do the dissection for the dura mater, again, you can start anywhere you want up on here, but again, remember that dural septa? It dives deep in between the hemispheres. So again, it's relatively deep in there. So again, you cut nice and easy, go across, use your scissors, get underneath this, cut into there, then it will peel up and it will peel across this way. Try and open it up back here, then when you peel this way, look for cranial nerve 4 inside there. Before you even do that, try and clean up a little bit over here so it kind of peels off nice and easy. Okay? It's hard to do. If you break it, you break it. Don't worry about it. We have plenty of good examples to show you 4 and 5 for yourself. All right? Then when you get it all cleaned up, it looks like this. All you're going to do is just cut the thing straight in half, basically. It's the only cut we're going to make, basically. Then when you do it this way, here's your internal anatomy now. So first thing you notice here, see the space here? What's inside there?
Pineal. Starts with a P.
Lateral ventricles.
Oh, that
And the space in there is the lateral ventricle. What's on top here? What's this white matter on top? It connects the right and left hemispheres. It's called the corpus callosum. That stripe there is the corpus callosum. Inside, what happens inside ventricles? What does it make? In the ventricles, what's made inside ventricles?
Oh, cerebrospinal.
Cerebral spinal fluid. Remember choroid plexus, the epididymal cells, all that stuff? You see this black tissue here? That's all the capillaries in all those epididymal cells, and that's what makes your cerebral spinal fluid. So just put it right back in there. Okay? So once you cut it open, you got corpus callosum, you got your lateral ventricle. See the ball right there, the nice circle? That's the thalamus. That's your thalamus, nice little circle there. And inside that, again, between the two halves of the thalamus is where you find your third ventricle. The third ventricle travels down to the fourth ventricle. See this little groove here? See that little groove? That's the cerebral aqueduct that connects down to the fourth ventricle, which is in between the pons and the cerebellum back here. Okay, so the fourth ventricle is a space in between over here. That'd be your fourth ventricle there. So you got thalamus. What's underneath the thalamus? Hypothalamus, absolutely. So there's a bump here, then another bump. That's your pons versus the medulla oblongata. And on top of the pons is the midbrain right there. So it's midbrain, pons, and then medulla oblongata. Okay? There's your cerebellum. See the tree inside? Arbor vitae. Okay? The other stuff too to find, before you even cut it, I should say, bend this back a little bit. You see some things kind of come out at you. See these 4 bumps back here? See those 4 bumps? That's called the corpora quadremina, the 4 bodies basically, with the superior colliculi and the inferior colliculi. Remember pineal gland and the epithalamus? That's that little gland right back in there. See the gland in the center? That there is that pineal gland. It's right in the center basically. It secretes melatonin, all that good stuff. Okay? So play with that, clean up as best you can. Try and save the nerves basically. The key is to pick up the dura, find the nerve, and cut the nerve before it hits the dura. So you don't just peel it all off basically. All right, go play with that.